Swindon has just filled its sports pages with a three-part story headlined, "Should he stay or should he go?" It can only be about one man. The prolific Charlie Austin. Mark McAdam spent the day with the sought-after striker.
Hi, I'm Charlie Austin, Swindon Town striker. Day off today, just like to invite you into my house. This was from Monday against Charlton. I've scored 2 goals.
So this was a Monday Night Football live on Sky Sports.
Yeah.
Man of the match. You're not drunk it yet, though?
No, I just sat here, down there for my mum and dad. Obviously, special achievement, and every time I look at that, then I'll know, obviously, it was against Charlton, live on Sky, and I got man of the match.
When your mum found out that we were coming over,
yeah.
What have you done? You've gone and dug out some of the old stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, just found little bits there.
You're embarrassing.
Went to Jersey from a district with Newbury District schools, and certain Theo Walcott was in the same side.
So you played with Theo Walcott when you were younger?
Yeah, and obviously he was very fast at 10 years old. Please? I'll get in there. I'll get in there. I'll get in there.
So you bought him a Ferrari?
Yeah.
You've just come off the back of a busy festive period. The first thing you like to do is obviously come down to the south coast and spend some time with your family.
Yeah, you know, it's always nice, obviously, to come home with friends. Like, I kept travelled, mine's an hour and a half away. Some of the other boys were at Manchester, Scotland, all over the country, you know. But it's obviously good to come down here and spend time with your family and friends. I always said to my dad, I'll be better than you at football, always. Now, if he turns around and says that to me, you have a lot to do.
Are you better than your dad at football? Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to your career, there's so many different points where things never happened for you. It could have fallen to pieces. You moved down to Bournemouth a couple of years ago. Just talk us through that sort of scenario and that story.
I moved down from Hungerford down to Bournemouth. I didn't really enjoy it at first, obviously, because Hungerford's a small town, small community, you know, and I was thinking, like, nah, I just want to stay there, you know, just because that's the only way I was brought up. Lucky enough, I stayed in there, did pre-season with Paul Town and met a good friend of mine, Mickey Hubbard, and to be honest, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have stayed. I'm playing football and he's worked for Southern Gas Network, and now let's go and see him at work. What's happening, lad?
Charlie says his career wouldn't be where it is now without you.
I'm not too sure about that. He's done well for himself, he's worked hard on that, and he's got where he is because of himself, no one else. He stayed down here because of me a little bit, but if it weren't for his football and his ability, that's where he is.
Don't injure yourself.
I won't. Theatre of dreams.
But this is where it all began. 46 goals, 46 games,
yeah.
And then suddenly, this catapults you into the Football League.
Yeah. Obviously, as you can see in general, that's why it's such a shock, and I thought to myself, you're never getting... When my dad, you'll get spotted, and I just think, maybe by someone higher in non-league, but never in the league.
Who's going to spot you here?
Look at the surroundings. Who's going to come down here? No disrespect to Paul Town or anything like that, but who would?
And when you're a millionaire, will you come back and buy this club?
I would come down and definitely support Paul Town Football Club.
Certainly a rising star, isn't he? I think Swindon fans know the score as well, Keith, don't they? That's not a question of when he goes. If he scores these kind of goals, it's not a question of if, it's when.
Yeah, he's a talent. You know, he's untapped potential at times. Like when you consider, you know, the rise that he's had in the last 2 seasons. You know, he's excellent last season for Swindon, scoring the goals that give them the opportunity to get to the playoff final. And this season he scored goals again. He scored an excellent goal against us. I thought our centre-halves did excellently against him. And he just got a goal at an offering, but it was an absolutely accomplished finish and, you know, one of us standing from an higher league, probably.
And just think about it, but for a divot, they might be playing in the Championship this season.
It's strange how football works, you know.
That's a piece of turf, by the way, not only on the players.
Definitely. I remember it at Wembley, you know, it definitely hit the divot, you know, and he probably would have finished that and the outcome of the game could have been so different.
Yeah. So and how careers change as well, as Charlie was saying there. You know, he never thought he'd get spotted at
No, but he's had good friends around him, good family. They've kept him believing. You know, they've encouraged him to do things that he probably didn't want to do, and he's reaping the rewards of that now. And I think he's got quite a few thank yous as well that he owes out.
We've talked about some natural goal scorers. We mentioned Jack Lester, you know, Craig Davis, lower league at the moment. You think should be playing higher? Should Charlie be playing higher?
Yeah, I think he'll get the opportunity. Goal scorers are sought after, you know, and I think he's probably been watched and overwatched by clubs, and they'll know everything about him from a football perspective, and they'll be getting character references, etc., etc. So it wouldn't surprise me that if they haven't had already had bids, they're going to get bids.
But sometimes, I mean, perhaps you can enlighten us here, because Adam Lafondra, who you know all about, scores millions of goals for Rotherham in League Two, but yet hasn't got to move higher.
Well, it surprises me. You know, I think he's a natural goal scorer, Alfie, and I think he will get his opportunity. But sometimes it's a bit of a risk, and you know, clubs like Rotherham will expect top dollar for Alfie Lafondra, and maybe those clubs aren't willing to pay that. So, you know, I think Alfie will play at least a decent standard, and I think Charlie Austin will as well. Yeah,
Charlie got a couple in that big game at Charlton. They've got history, these two clubs, haven't they, going back to the playoffs last season? And it was a fantastic win, this, for Swindon, after being a goal down.
It was, yeah, you know, and you're thinking that it's probably going to go against Swindon again. They haven't been in great form, you know, but great character to come back. And to score 4 goals against Charlton in their own back garden is absolutely superb. But you just see the type of finish there, you know, he's accomplished, finished in front of goal.
They're a bit off the pace at the moment, though, aren't they, in terms of league position? Could they make a move up the table?
It's strange, because I think they've got a squad that's more than capable of competing. But you often get that hangover from, you know, from the previous year's playoffs, especially the final. Once you get to the finals, there's a lot of teams who do, you know, fail to be successful the season after. And you're often used as a yardstick of your own successes as a football club, playing against the likes of Swindon. But, you know, I think they could come with a late surge.
When you look at Charlie scoring those 2 goals there, is there more potential? Is there more for him to come? Can you coach that kind of positional sense he had there?
Well, he's 21. I think a lot of it is natural. But he's 21, and people will be looking at that potential to develop. You know, and the clubs who are looking at him will definitely tap into that and see it as a possibility.
When you look at your table, Brighton are up there, aren't they, at the top? Yeah. Which has surprised a few people this season, that Gus Poyet has got them going so consistently well.
It's no surprise to me. You know, the resources they've got, Gus Poyet as a manager, the chairman who's really ambitious, you know, it's no surprise to me. But when you look at the big clubs like Southampton, you know, the Huddersfields, you know, the Sheffield Wednesday, the Charltons, there's only so many clubs who can get the success. And it's any 2 from, you know, 7 for me.
33 points there is the playoff position in 6th. Keith Rochdale in 17th there, 28. So not beyond possibility of you making a bid for those playoff positions either, Keith, for certain. But in the bottom 4 at the moment are Walsall, Dagenham Redbridge, Yeovil and Bristol Rovers. Fixtures then in Empower League 2 this weekend. It's Bournemouth against Plymouth. Bournemouth are looking for their first win against Plymouth since 1996. Dagenham Redbridge against Keith's Rochdale. Rochdale have won the last 3 meetings, by the way. Exeter against the MK Dons. Oldham up against Swindon. Tranmere playing Walsall. And it's Yeovil against Brentford.